This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Abathur. We have Fizzle. And player 2, playing Alarak. We have Huddo. You can see here Huddo is asking Mr. Fizzle about him being a level 443 Ascendant player. And yeah, we'll have a look at the masteries while this conversation develops. We can see that we have a few splits over here, and Alarak seems to be okay at level 35. And now we have a little bit of smack talk from Alarak, because Alarak is apparently very surprised that someone has reached level 443 and believes that is a sign of being a no-lifer. I will give you full disclosure here. I am a bigger no-lifer because as of the time of this cast, I have a total of 1,700 Ascension levels across all servers. So there you go, Mr. Huddo. There are lots of bigger low-lifers than Mr. Fizzle over here. But anyway, so Abathur is going to go ahead and start farming some biomass over here, ignoring his ally, while his ally sits and simmers at him being a significantly lower level, and for the most part seems to be okay here. He's put down some toxic nests and getting some value over there. Rip those medics, but yeah, he does have his toxic nests in position here, and Alarak is going to start putting down his gateway and start taking up to whatever build he wants to do. I am not sure what his plan is, but we will see very quickly what Alarak's plan is over here. It's a little bit more luring on this side. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna focus on Abathur's play for a little bit while Alarak comes out, and then we'll switch over to Alarak's view, and we'll see what he does throughout the course of this mission. Because usually in the early game, not really much for Alarak to do. One thing to note is that this is a Terran composition, which means Alarak does have a potential fast expand he can use, but I'm pretty sure that since he's busy going outside most of the time, he will not have read Starcraft2Co-op.com's guide on Alarak's fast expand. So he's gonna leave it up to his Abathur ally to do this, because his Abathur ally is a little bit more experienced. And so far we just have a gateway, and now we have our first forge that has been completed for Alarak. And he is now producing 2 supplicants out of his gateway. And Alarak should be out around now, and nothing really much there. Okay, Alarak's putting down now his Cybernetic core, and he's gonna go and join the fray and intercept this first attack wave that is coming up towards his side of the allied bases over here. It is a bunch of Reapers over here, so we are dealing with a Shadowtech composition. So Shadowtech, as everybody knows, is really annoying. There are lots of Liberators, Ravens, Cyclones, pretty much every single annoying Terran unit that you can think of probably is there in Shadowtech composition. So you can see here that Alarak is working away and killing off these Marines. He's completely ignoring these boxes. Oh, no, never mind. He's decided to go ahead and start taking out some and collecting some of these parts. And there's an SCV that's just behind him, but Alarak's having none of that. He's gonna go and take out these that SCV in the process, and then take out the missile turret that the SCV touched. He wants to make sure he's completely purified this area. There's another SCV that's there, but Alarak uses the destruction wave to take out that SCV. And now Alarak on here picked up all the parts in that area, and now he wants to go into this enemy camp over here. But there is a Hybrid Dominator, and that Hybrid Dominator is having none of Alarak. Uses a Plasma Blast, takes off like half of Alarak's HP, but luckily his Destruction Wave does keep him alive. And now this Hybrid Dominator is being moved back forward, and now again it's using another Plasma Blast, and now there's a Siege Tank as well. Siege Tank shells Alarak, and there we go. Rip goes Alarak after the Siege Tank and the Plasma Blast combo. And there we go for Alarak. So far, there is no Warp Gate research being researched as well on the Cybernetic score. So Alarak is just manually producing his supplicants here, and I'm not sure what he is looking at right now. I'm going to switch over here, and I'm going to move over, and I'm going to see what he's looking at. So he's just basically he's just focusing on the rest of his stuff here. So he's just making a few production structures. So what does he have? He's putting down 2 more gateways, one Twilight Council, and he's putting down 2 more forges here, and he's getting his shield upgrades because he needs to make sure that Alarak's shield is going to keep him alive. And little does he know that shields do not really affect the spell damage that someone gets. It's only for the auto attack damage, and especially when you're dealing with especially when you're working up against units like siege tanks, which have a low attack rate, high damage. Shield upgrades, armor upgrades don't really provide a lot of benefit. And Alarak has noticed now that there are a bunch of boxes over here that he wants to, that he should go and pick up. So he's going to do that with his army of 2 supplicants and 1 Alarak. They're going to poke away on these boxes, and they are going to be moving now up forward, and we'll see what his plan is. Here we go again, switch to the first-person view. He's looking still at his base, and he's doing some research as well over here. He is researching the supplicant upgrades for Alarak, and he's now getting... Okay, so he's gotten the imposing presence upgrade over here. He's gotten the telekinesis upgrade, and then he's queued up his 3 upgrades on this forge, which is an interesting strategy that he has decided to utilize here. And his Chrono Boost is still on this Nexus, and I have also noticed that his Nexus is not out on his expansion. So he is working off a 1 base economy so far, despite the fact that Abathur has cleared this thing off at like the 4-minute mark, I think. And now Alarak is gonna go and start taking out this train. He's gotta go and get this bonus objective, and this bonus objective train, he doesn't want to get yelled at by General Davis, so he wants to go and attack this with his army of 2 supplicants, and Alarak uses an Empower Me right now because he's having none of this train. He needs to buff up his amount of damage output, and he moves out of range of the Empower Me buff, so it's only Alarak right now around him, and uses a few more destruction waves, gets within range, but unfortunately the Empower Me runs out, but the train gets taken out magically through Abathur's army. And now Alarak is on this side, decides to poke in a little bit, and his ally tells him to ignore the hybrid. Get the army first, which is a good idea, but he probably should have some kind of economy if he wants to build up an army. And although he is floating about 1,500 minerals and 1,000 gas, now he's being harassed by a bunch of banshees over here. The banshees focus down one of these supplicants, and they will probably end up taking out... Oh no, Alarak jumps in to tank for his supplicant over there. Supplicant alive, destruction wave on here, and now that supplicant ends up dying. For I'm not sure how that supplicant ended up dying, but it ended up dying now. And Alarak is over here now, just focusing on some of these marines, taking all these boxes over here, blowing these marines back, and now he's just gonna go and kill off the rest of these marines on this side, pick up the rest of these parts over here. And so far, Alarak has 4 supplicants and 1 Alarak right now, and still no expansion left on Alarak. And now Alarak is going to start pushing towards this side. He used his... Okay, there is his mothership over here, and he wants to use that to help push into this enemy base, which is again okay, but that does not constitute an army. He doesn't really have any units over here, and yeah, there's no production as well on this side. Yeah, we still have the queue up on there on these upgrades, which is again interesting. He has 3 forges up, and no upgrades queued up on the other forges. Alarak is pushing on here, and he still has another 80 seconds before he has access to his Empower Me, so it is going to be a bit interesting to see how he's going to handle that. There is a Death Fleet tamed out, and it has been warped away, and now Alarak is just walking around with his Abathur ally, and trying to provide a little bit of damage. So this is indeed a solo Alarak build, and now he's getting focus fired down by a bunch of cyclones, but again, the destruction waves and the rest of Abathur's army that's dealing damage is keeping him alive, because he does drain a little bit of the enemy forces' life forces, but unfortunately not enough before the cyclones focus fire him down and kill him. And then we'll see where Alarak is looking at. He's looking back at his base now, and he's trying to figure out what the next plan is. There's still 1 more box over there that he hasn't picked up, and he is still making supplicants out of his gateways manually. He is not warping in the supplicants. Actually, each one of these gateways have 5 supplicants that have been queued up. So that is, again, an interesting choice over there. He's now decided to go and research his upgrades across all 3 of his forges, which Should have been a little bit earlier, but now he's done that, and now he's producing supplements out of there. But now he is supply blocked because he is sitting only at a whopping 39 supply right now, while Abathur is busy murdering everything that Amon has. Now there is one probe that is moving over here, so we're gonna see what his plan is. But no, Alarak is looking at his Abathur ally right now, so I've switched over again to first-person view. Alarak looking at his Abathur ally, not really looking at his base, but he's just watching Abathur just get stuff at the moment. Alarak has spawned over here, so I'm not sure why he's not doing anything else up there. But he has now put down his expansion, and this is the hyper fast 14-minute and 20-second expansion technique that Alarak has, and he's still producing his students out of these 3 warp gates that he has over here, and he's producing them manually. Alarak now has an army of supplicants ready, and he's gonna go and engage these cyclones over here. Cyclones get start focus firing down some of these supplicants, and some of these supplicants do end up going down. A total of 14 supplicants have died in the course of this game, so Alarak is playing hyper efficiently. He hasn't really lost a lot of his army, but that might be because he never had an army to begin with. And now Alarak is going to move in with his Abathur ally, and I think they want to go and do this train. So there should be more than enough damage output here. And his Abathur ally says, not getting Ascendants, which is a very good question, because Ascendants are fantastic on this map. Ascendants, the objective is a unit, the bonus objective is considered a unit, and Ascendants can deal with the attack waves on pretty much any mission. This is one of the best missions to go for Ascendants on, and there is nothing over there. So finally, Alarak puts down his Ascendant archives. I'm not even sure if he knows what Ascendants do or how they work, and he says, I forgot. Yes, in the high-octane game that he was playing, in the intense amount of micro that he was required of him, he forgot to put down his Ascendant archives. But now he's been reminded of that, and now he puts down his Ascendant archives, and he is ready to go in just a little bit to get his Ascendants out of these warp gates, or actually out of these gateways. They're not even warp gates right now, still not warp gates. And now Abathur is going to go and start engaging this army. Unfortunately, this hybrid is starting to create attack waves, which means the hybrid will start spawning more deadly attack waves throughout the course as you go through the second and third hybrid. It's a little bit unfortunate. It does make this mission a little bit more difficult. But Abathur's army is now massive. He has his ultimate evolutions, he has his Leviathans as well, out and good to go. And this hybrid pretty much stands no chance against the rest of these armies. Alarak, on the other hand, is going to go and intercept this attack wave. He wants to intercept this attack wave. I think that is his plan. I think Abathur does have an army that's already ready and good to go. Is Alarak going to go and intercept this? No. He's just going to pass the attack wave. I'm not sure what his plan is. He wants to go down this side. I have no idea what his plan is. He just decided to park himself over here, I think, while Abathur goes and engages this army at the top there. And oh, now he wants to go and get these cyclones. Nope, not even interested in cyclones. I have no idea what he's doing. He's just I think he's getting ready for the next hybrid over here. And he's still producing units out of this. He's queued up his 3 upgrades for his Ascendants, and this queue up was done at maybe about the 18-minute mark. Still producing these units out of these gateways over here. No warp gate research done for Alarak, I don't see. He has gotten his attack upgrades, which is okay. And now Abathur is just going to push into the side, and Alarak wants to have a little bit of fun as well, wants to join in the fight. Unfortunately, there are all air units over here, and Alarak does not have any anti-air, which he is going to be in the process of making. He is still making supplicants. I think he's decided to delay his Ascendants until he's gotten his upgrades over here. So once his Ascendant archives have gotten all their upgrades, I think he'll start making his Ascendants. I think that's his plan. Still has 1 box of parts here, which is kind of annoying me right now. It's like I normally take those things out first thing in the game because they're easy pickings, but Alarak does not seem to care about that 1 box that is sitting over there, and he is waiting to deal with this next hybrid now. Balius is in position, breaks the hybrid's containment cell, hybrid pops out, and Alarak is going to go and pounce. Any minute now. There we go, he's bouncing, and the pouncing has begun. and now the hybrid has created another attack wave. Unfortunately, again, Alarak does not have the anti-air that will require him, that will allow him to deal with this. This Overseer, very unfortunate over here, has clumped up with a lot of Alarak's army and Abathur's army, and that attack actually deals a lot of damage. But Abathur does have the heal, he does have the men. The men does keep him alive. Alarak decides to move in a little bit onto this attack pattern as well, and now he has used his empowerment to start dealing a lot of damage to this hybrid. Alarak has dealt a total of 18k damage so far on this hybrid. The hybrid does try and spawn some of the attack waves, but this hybrid does end up dying off before this attack wave was created, so the attack wave does end up despawning. And now, Alarak is looking at his one Ascendant, I believe. I think he's looking at his Ascendant over here. I'm not really sure why. He's looking at his base now, and he is looking at his expansion right now. So he's just gonna wait over here. I've switched it over to first-person view again. Let's see what he's looking at right now. And he's looking at his main base again. Gonna make a few more probes. Looking at his ally. Ally kills off the other stuff. And now he's gonna look at his base. He wants the space now. He has his one Ascendant right now, and this one Ascendant is going to one-shot everything because his ally told him that. And because he knows his ally has not walked outside, his ally must be correct. So he A-clicks his entire army into this, and this one Ascendant is going to be completely one-shotting everything that is there inside this enemy base over here. Alarak is getting focus fired down, does drop a Death Fleet to provide a little bit more combat support. You need to have a little bit of anti-air, so that is the plan over here. Using that one, that Death Fleet over here, and yeah, so Alarak is getting focus fired down now, and there are a lot of enemy units over here. The Liberators have sieged up, created some liberation zones over here, and now Alarak is gonna go and take on that one hybrid on this side. I don't know where the Ascendant is gone. I think the Ascendant is dead, but Alarak doesn't really care because the Ascendant has done its job in moving Alarak's army towards this entire area over here, and now there are only a few supplicants left, and Alarak is still hell-bent on taking out that hybrid. That hybrid is now at 50% HP. Should be more than enough to be able to take it out, but unfortunately Alarak does not realize that this hybrid is having none of Alarak, and it is just going to keep dealing damage. He does end up taking out that hybrid, which is somewhat surprising, but at what cost? Alarak has lost a total of 62 supplicants and his one Ascendant over here, and now Alarak is going to go and face that hybrid, and he should be okay. There are a few more Ascents on this side, but apparently the Ascents are just standing in this liberation zone, and 3 of those Ascendants do end up getting picked off, and Alarak ends up dying as well to the hybrid that was there on that side. So one last Ascendant is remaining, I think. Oh no, there are 4 Ascendants, so I think some of them are on the way. Okay, there they are. They are on the way right now, and yeah, that hybrid ends up killing off Alarak there, but Alarak's got this. He has his Ascendants, 5 Ascendants right now. 5 times the firepower that he had earlier. I think he should be more than okay. And now there's another attack wave that the Abathur is going to deal with, but Alarak has no worries really. He's pretty much got this in the bag now. He has his gateways producing some stalkers now as well, some slayers, and yeah, he's getting some. He's getting his level 3 attack upgrades. His level 3 attack upgrades are going to buff up the power level of his Ascendants, and yeah. He has his Slayers on the way as well, and since they are called Slayers, they should end up slaying this hybrid very quickly. So he has his army now completely ready to deal with this next hybrid that will be spawning. And he's slaying a few minerals, but he doesn't really need that. He needs his Ascendants, he needs his Slayers, because he needs to start slaying this hybrid. And yeah, there we go. The Balise is now in position. It'll start breaking this hybrid's containment cell. Hybrid will spawn, and it'll start spawning even larger attack waves. So this will be a little bit more annoying to deal with, but I think Abathur's army is already in position. Abathur has some Devourers and some Guardians. These Devourers do get stasis, which is a bit of a problem here, and Alarak does get focus fired down. He does use his Empower Me, but unfortunately, by that time, I think all the Ascendants had gotten focus fired down by the units over there. So there are only 5 Ascendants left now, and but Abathur has this pretty much in the bag, and that is GG from Abathur, because indeed the hybrid has died, and General Davis will stop yelling at these commanders, and that is GG.